One, when he arrived, he thought it was minor surgery required. Like they were going to do some things. They were going to have to fix their salary cap pressures and stuff like that. But now he looks back and says, no, major surgery is required in what is a retool, not a rebuild, but a retool. What does that mean to you when you hear those phrases and how he has put all of this together as he looks forward to multiple changes, not just a change, but multiple changes in many different areas?
95% of the time, I think it's semantics, and I think it doesn't matter, and I really don't care what word a manager or a president uses: retool, rebuild, refurbish, repolish the crap, like whatever it is, right? Like, who cares? It's a word, it's a term, and of course everything gets dissected and broken down. The reason I say 95% of the time is because sometimes there are really good teams, and what they do need is a little bit of a refurbish or a retool. They need not much. You watch the Canucks coming into the year, most people felt their defense wasn't going to be good enough. And through 45 games, they've proven that to be correct. So people say, well, just blow it up and rebuild.
No.
Great idea. Hell of an idea. However, if you can't get other teams to take the contracts you'd like to move, then how do you do it? You can't push people into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
You have contracts to honor. They have no trades, and or other teams aren't interested or don't have room, more consequently, to take on those contracts. Mm-hmm. So you're stuck. And Rutherford got into that, where he said, we can't move contracts, and if we can't move them by the deadline, we're going to have to look at buying some people out over the summer. Now, I would look specifically at the Minnesota Wild. They felt they needed to gut the inside of the locker room because they needed to turn the room over to two or four or six young guys, to have a new leadership core, but they couldn't do that with Ryan Suter and Zach Parise still there. So they bought them out. Yeah. $11 million on the cap this year, $14 million on the cap next year. Mm-hmm. Like, the only way that can happen is if you have younger players on entry-level deals that can come up and play for you. They went out and they got Sam Steele, who was a first-round pick by Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah.
Yeah, washed out there. It didn't work. Comes in now. He's playing with, a lot of the time, he's playing with Zuccarello and Kaprizov. Oh, how's that? How about Matt Boldy?
Worked out well.
Matt Boldy, they just signed him to a 7-year, $49 million extension on his entry-level contract. That's how you can balance the two out. So refurbish, retool, rebuild. To me, it's the way the Canucks look today is not the way they can look in October. It just can't.
Right. And clearly,
and however you get there, Dregs, it's not irrelevant. People are interested in it, but if it can be through trade, it'll be through trade. And if it can't, it'll be with something else.
Yeah. And I mean, look, that's the business of hockey now, right? With a salary cap, and that's going to change in the years to come, but it's not going to change quick enough. So management is going to have to drill down. And as Rutherford said, they're committed to doing that. So I want to take you back to post shootout win, Vancouver over Carolina, and Bo Horvat, captain of the Vancouver Canucks, I thought did an exceptional job of fielding the questions at that point, acknowledging guys in the room hear the noise. They hear it. How can you not hear it? And he acknowledged that, the coach, Bruce Boudreau, clearly hears it. Now, Rutherford talked about this as part of his avail. I don't recall a president at this point of a season openly talking about having conversations with potential coaching candidates while they still have a full-time NHL coach on the bench in Bruce Boudreau. So that was a bit strange to me. And look, everybody's speculating on Rick Tocchet and what's his situation with TNT. Can he get out in under 4 weeks? All of that. Well, that'll play itself out. But I want to go back to the post-game comment from Horvat after the Carolina game where he says, quote, "We continue to battle for him," being Boudreau. "He's a really good person and a good coach. Everybody wants to play for him, so we're going to continue to do that." Now, if he were a veteran player, Ray, I would listen, and I would think it's the honorable and the right thing to do. but he's a captain of the Vancouver Canucks. He's not saying that to pay lip service so that, the pestering media goes away, right? Bo Horvat is saying it because he feels that way. He believes that, whether others in the room do or don't. He speaks on behalf of the players. So do we learn anything from that, or is this just a veteran player sticking up for a guy who's been kicked in the shins about 100 different ways?
I think it's that. Here, I'll tell you this from being in a locker room. I was in them for 18 years professionally and umpteen years prior to that. Never once, not once, was there ever a discussion of, hey, should we keep playing hard for this guy? Never once. Not once. Quite frankly, it's a team, but it is really an individual business. All pro sports are, because you're trying to survive. And so if you can feel badly about how everything plays out, you better look after your business, or if they decide to make a coaching change, you're going to be on the next train too. Like that, that's just how it works. So Dregs, I saw Bo Horvat in Florida. I was down at the scouting meetings and ran across a bunch of the Canucks. I saw him and Brock Besser, and they're walking around. I was there with Cammy. I got nothing to do. I'm just kind of walking around and running into these guys, and they all, you can just see in their body, they wear it. Like it's not just in the 3 hours of the rink. They wear it, man. Like this is a hard year for them, and all they can do is the best they can for themselves and thereby for the team. Like if you're Bo Horvat, you can't score more goals so Oliver Ekman-Larsson defends better.
Right.
Like Oliver Ekman-Larsson has to get his game in order. That's why I say it's like independent contractors playing together. So what Horvat has to stand up there as the captain and take a few body blows, and it's not easy. And he's done a terrific job. The toughest part of this, as I watch it, is like there is a conclusion to this, and everybody can see where it's going. And it would be nice if it happened, and that's likely going to be a coaching change, but if it would happen sooner rather than later. Right. And you just kind of outlined some of the factors. If it is Rick Tocchet, the contract with TNT apparently has got some weeks that he has to give notice. So TNT doesn't go to broadcast and the chair's open. So they've got to work their way around that too. So it's a complicated deal. At the start of the year, we heard a lot about the Canucks don't want to pay 3 coaches, right? Like that was at the very start of the year.
Yeah.
And don't forget, back in June, there was an out here for both sides.
Yeah.
Or rather for Boudreau first, I believe, right?
Yeah.
The Canucks would have still had to pay Bruce if they were going to fire him, but Bruce could have left and gone to another team. But clearly there wasn't another team that was available, because who's going to come back under these circumstances unless you really have to?
Yeah.
And he's doing the best he can. The team is pretty much what the team was thought of to be. And now you got to get back to trying to make it work, because I would say all the deals you wanted to make in the summer of last year, they're still the deals you want to make now. However, looking around the league, can you even think of a trade? Like I in the moment
no.
here, I can't.
Hey, thanks for tuning into our YouTube channel. And while you're here, why don't you do us a solid? Hit like and subscribe.
Yeah, you'll get access to all the latest uploads. You can stay updated on the latest news and interviews from the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast.
It only takes a couple of seconds. And from what I'm told, it helps with our algorithm thingamajig. Anyway, we appreciate the support.